Namaste.
Before starting, practice grounding by bringing yourself to a meditative state. Mind in silence, breathing deeply in and out through the nose.
Let's all begin at the tops of our mats with 3 rounds each of Sun Salutations A and B. Surya Namaskara A. Starting in Tadasana, take 1 big inhale to Urdhvastasana. Exhale Uttanasana. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step back to plank and take your Chaturanga or a variation with the knees bent. Inhale to Cobra. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take 5 breaths here. Feel free to bend the knees, lift the heels, and pedal the feet if this is your first Downward Facing Dog for today. On the next inhale, step forward to your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, back to Tadasana. Round 2. Inhale, Urdhvastasana. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Chaturanga Dandasana. Low plank. Knees bent. Cobra or Bhujangasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana for 5 counts. Feel free to bring the heels a little bit closer to the mat and the core away from the thighs. Let the shoulders push away. You may gaze in between the toes. On the next in-breath, take your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhvastasana. Samastitihi Tadasana. Round 3. Inhale and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to plank. Take your Chaturanga Dandasana. Slowly recover to your Bhujangasana. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Maybe you can straighten the knees this time if that is accessible. 5 breaths. Stepping forward to our halfway lift. Gazing forward, elongating the spine. Take your fold. Exhale. Inhale, rise. Exhale, mountain. Surya Namaskara B. On the next in-breath, take your chair, sweep the arms up. Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step or hop back. Plank, take your Chaturanga Dandasana, 1 straight line. On an inhale, Bhujangasana or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take an in-breath, step the left foot in, right foot out to your Warrior 1. Sword pierces the sky. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog, just for 1 breath. In breath, right foot steps in between the hands, Warrior 1. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Cobra. Exhale, Downward Facing Dog for 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the next in-breath, step or hop forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, back to chair, gazing in between the hands. Exhale, Samastitihi. Round 2. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Ardha Uttanasana. Step back, see if you can do a full Chaturanga, lowering down all the way. Inhale, Cobra. No need to lift to Upward Dog. Take your Downward Dog for 1 breath. Step the left foot forward, spin the back foot outwards. Warrior 1 on an inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra, untuck the toes. Tuck the toes, exhale, Downward Facing Dog. On the next in-breath, right foot forward, pierce the sky, strong erect spine, and warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. In Cobra, yield the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking 5 breaths. Again, maybe you can bring the heels closer to the mat. Feel free to adjust your stance. Step or hop forward, halfway lift, elongate the spine. Exhale, fold, maybe deeper. Chair pose. Samastitihi, last round. Utkatasana, sending the hips back. Exhale, fold, prioritize the spine. Inhale, halfway lift, shifting a little bit forward. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog, 1 breath. Warrior one, left foot in. Exhale, low plank. Inhale to lift the spine. Exhale, lift the hips, down dog. Right foot forward, left foot spins. Warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, yielding the shoulders and elbows back. Exhale, releasing the hips towards the sky and down dog. Breathing in and out through the nose, our intention for today's practice is to recruit strength in the arms. So press through the hands and fingers. Keep the fingers wide. Step forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, elevate the shoulders. Release Samastitihi. From here, let's take our tabletop with the shoulders slightly above the wrists. Let's shift forward and back 10 times to warm up the wrist and hands. Shifting forward, tucking the toes. Core tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hands on the sides of the mat, fingers facing the long edge, shift side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Core is tight. 7, 8, 9, 10. Back in tabletop, but this time with the wrists facing front and the fingers backwards. Shifting front and back for 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel free to lift the base of the wrists as you shift backward. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Arms up. Let's flex and extend the wrists for 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Finding the end range. 8, 9, and 10. From here, we will find our carrying angle. So with the arms on the sides and the palms facing the front, notice the angle of the arms from the elbows. Where the palms naturally go, measure the distance on the mat. You may use this stance in your planks, chaturanga, tabletop, and other arm balances. So let's do some cats and cows from tabletop. As we inhale, yield the chest forward. Gazing forward, arching the spine. Exhale to cat, push yourself away from the mat. 2 more times. In cow, lead with the tailbone, allow the space in between the collarbones to expand. Cat, protract the shoulders. Inhaling to cow. And for cat, you may gaze in between the hands or the chest. Let's do 10 shoulder shrugs to familiarize ourselves with protraction and retraction. So we protract by pushing the torso away, in the same way we distance the shoulders from the ears. We retract by releasing the chest, bringing the shoulders close to the neck. 8, 9, and 10. Hold there for 5, 4, 3, protraction, 2, and 1. Release. Doing this helps build awareness and recruit strength in the arms. Let's shift forward and back with the shoulders protracted this time. 10 times. 1, 2, core is tight. 3, 4, tuck the toes for stability. 6, 7, slightly rounding the upper back. 9, and 10. Core is tight still, shoulders protracted. Let's lift the knees an inch from the mat and stay here for 10, 9, 8, recruiting strength in the core and the arms. 5, 4, pushing away from the mat. 2, and 1. Slowly and with control, release. Let's move on to a few Chaturanga Drills. So we'd want to bend with the elbows backwards. See if you can bring the eyes of the elbows forward and just slightly inwards but not completely, and the biceps backwards. So a good metric would be to have the index or middle fingers pointing forward. Feel free to adjust as needed. We have different structures and proportions in the body. Now returning to our tabletop with the hands slightly farther from the knees. Wider tabletop. Protract the shoulders. Shift forward. Engage the core. It's tight. Lower down to a modified chaturanga and back up to a wide tabletop for 10 times. So allow the elbows to bend backwards. See if you can keep the core tight without the belly collapsing. 8. And the shoulders are away from the ears. 7. You may also maintain a slight tuck in the tailbone if that is productive for you. 5. Lowering down with control. 4. Pushing up also with control. You may gaze forward, sending the energy towards the top of the mat. 3, 2, and for the last one, let's slowly lower down. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the feet, untuck the toes. Sending the elbows back, rolling the shoulders back. Let's do a few Cobra Drills. Place the hands where you feel you would be able to push without pain. It may be close to the chest, the ribs, the chest, or the armpits. For 10, lifting up, slowly lowering down. 9, anchor the toes and push the legs towards the mat. 8, 7, by now you may be feeling warmth in the triceps. 5, not relying on momentum here. 4, 3, 2, and for the last one, let's hold at our available end range for 5, 4, 3, gazing forward. 2, and 1. Slowly tuck the toes, lift back up to downward facing dog. Take your time. So with our arms warm now, see if you can push the hands away, sending energy up towards the hips for 10 breaths. Our intention here is to feel the length brought about by renewed strength in the arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lift the heels and adjust our stance, preparing to shift forward to high plank for 10 times. And as we shift forward, see if you can also keep the core tight. The hips are not so high and the shoulders protracted. 7, 6, sending power to the legs all the way to the toes. There may be instances where the shoulders go above the wrists, so just be mindful if this is counterproductive. 2, and 1. Three-legged dog. Three-legged dog on the right side, keeping the hips level. No need to take the right leg too high. Flex the foot. Imagine being pulled back with the right foot and anchored towards the front by the 3 other limbs. Let's bend that lifted knee and point the toes. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Three-legged dog, inhale. Exhale, knee to right tricep. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Let's do this cycle for 2 more times. And as you shift forward, protract the shoulders around the spine. Lift the heel to allow the body to thread forward. One last. Don't forget to breathe. Inhale, exhale, knee to left tricep. And stepping back to your downward facing dog, catching the breath, relieving any tension in the wrists before we prepare for the left side. 3-legged dog on the left, allow the hamstrings to contract as you stretch. And we're doing the same drills this time on the left side. So let's point the toes, bend, inhale, exhale to forward. Inhale, 3-legged dog, exhale, knee to left tricep. And so on. Doing this for 2 more times, engage the core and access the hip flexors as you fold. Don't forget to breathe. Knee to left, knee to right, and releasing back to your downward facing dog. Feel free to descend to your child's pose. We may keep the arms behind the knees, allowing the forehead to rest. Breathe in and out through the nose. Allow yourself to recover. Take it slow, breathing slowly and deeply. Let's recover, planting the hands on the mat. Let's find our forearm plank. So let's keep the torso long, step the feet back. Again, imagine being pulled on both ends of the body. Staying here for 10 counts. 10, 9, keeping the core tight, gazing forward. 7, 6, 5, 4, don't forget to breathe. 2, and 1. So from here, let's walk the feet forward to dolphin, butt up, gaze towards the feet. Option to lift the heels or ground them, walking back to plank. Let's do this for 4 more times. As you lift the hips, push the body away using the shoulders. And when you go to your forearm plank, keep the core engaged and tight, not too low, not too high. 2 more times. Walking in and walking out. 1 last time, make it count. Keeping the arms stable. Let's hold our forearm plank here, staying strong for 5, 4, 3, gazing forward, 2, and 1. So let's do side planks with the forearms. Feel free to change your hand placement. Rolling to the left side, stack the feet, pull the hips and the core up. Push with the shoulders. Imagine that there's a band you're pulling upwards with the right hand. Let's pull and return with control for 5 times. Opening the collarbones, squeezing the shoulder blades.
Keeping in mind the opening and closing in both the front and back sides of the body. After the 5th, unfurl the right arm all the way up, balancing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly back to center. Let's take it towards the right side this time. Same drill. Imagine being an archer here. You may gaze towards the mat to keep your balance. Lifting with the hips and core and the arms to lessen the load on the feet and shoulders. After the 5th pull, unfurl the left arm, keeping balance and strength for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly, with control, back to center. This time, let's hold per side. So back to the left side, balancing on the forearm. See if you can gaze upwards for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to center, right side this time. Unfurling the left hand, gazing up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing back to center. From forearm plank, let's lift to high plank and do the same drills. So from here, walk the feet in as if you're piking for a handstand. Hips up, walk back to high plank 9 more times. So we're not releasing the core here. You're recruiting strength in the upper body. A few more times. And as you go back to your plank, core is tight. Hips are not so high, nor so low. 4 more times. Pushing with the shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. Now let's do our side planks, holding in the left side. Imagining that band pulling in for 5, 4, 3. With control, 2, and 1. Unfurl. This time you may gaze towards the hands. 3, 2, and 1. Release back to high plank and center. Shifting towards the right side, balancing on the stack of the feet for 5, 4, pulling in, squeezing the shoulder blades. 3, 2, lift with the hips, and 1. Release the left arm up, opening both the front and the back body. 3, 2, and 1. Release back to plank. Catch your breath. Let's do a hold on the left side for 5 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Shifting towards the right. Stacking the shoulder on the wrist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Feel free to take your child's pose. If you want to drink water, feel free to do that as well. Allow the palms to face up, releasing tension in the shoulders, breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Regaining your bearings, remembering your intention for today's practice. Whenever you're ready, let's stretch the legs and step or hop forward. Find your chair pose, Utkatasana, for 5 counts. Feel free to count on your own. Send the energy upwards, maintaining a small fold in the hips without bringing the knees forward if the knees are feeling pain. So see if your chair pose now is more accessible and powerful compared to our earlier iterations. Let's slowly lower the torso, belly close to the thighs in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sweep the arms back and forward 5 times, maintaining stability in the lower body. Sending power all the way to the fingertips and the crown of the head. Grounding with the feet, and after the 5th, see if you can lower your hips and the butt to the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, with control, 1. Sit, lean back, bend the knees, find your boat pose for 5 counts. Energies forward and up, keep the toes light and the neck long. And on the next 5 counts, see if you can lift the feet, straighten the legs. Sending energy to the fingertips, the toes, and the crown of the head. After the 5th count, bring the knees close to the elbows or triceps, mimicking crow pose in a different plane. Magnetize the knees close to the chest, work the hip flexors, and maintain the energy forward and up. Finally, balancing with control, 5 counts, guide the shins as you lift the feet to an upward facing forward fold. Prioritize the length of the spine. With control, release the feet to the mat, roll the arms forward. Allow yourselves to be pulled up to chair pose, again, Utkatasana. Step the right leg back to an airplane lunge or warrior 1, torso forward, hands back. Belly repelling the thighs. Powerful here and strong. Open yourself to the right long edge of the mat. Feel free to adjust your stance. Come to side angle. Keeping the side body long, gazing to the lifted fingertips. Let's come to a wide-legged forward fold. Turn the legs in and interlace the fingers behind you. Tilt the torso forward to around 90 degrees with the legs, but keeping the core strong here, we're not collapsing the belly. Breathing deeply. Let's reverse the last two poses this time on the other side. So find your side angle on the left. Feet are 90 degrees from each other. Energy from the foot all the way to the fingertips. Airplane lunge or airplane warrior. Hands towards the back, energy moving forward. Let's repeat that drill back to chair pose, Utkatasana, keeping the shoulders elevated, the butt back, spine is neutral. And from here, we will slowly tilt the torso forward, not collapsing the belly in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sweeping the arms back and forward for 5 times. Really keeping the energy here forward, grounding with the feet. And after the 5th, see if you can lower the butt to the mat. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tucking the tailbone, find your boat pose with the knees bent. So allow the hip flexors to keep the knees close to the chest, keeping the spine long, shoulders away from the ears. Extend the legs with control, pointing the toes and fingers for lightness. If you need props, feel free to bring them out. Use them. Mimicking our floating crow, this time with the palms pushing forward, lengthen the neck. 3, 2, and 1. Upward facing forward fold. See if you can gaze upwards this time as you channel lightness. Allow yourselves to be pulled upwards. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release the feet forward, balancing, find your chair. And then let's step back to our airplane lunge or warrior 1 again. Torso tilting forward, knees are strong. Front leg is strong. And instead of doing extended side angle for the next pose, let's lift both arms overhead, forming a strong diagonal line with the left foot all the way to the fingertips. Right knee is not collapsing inwards, hips are open. 2, and 1. Wide-legged forward fold. You may place the hands or rest on the forearms as you take rest. Option to stay for 10 breaths. Another option is to do a straddle headstand for practitioners who are familiar with inversions already. Interlace the fingers, ground the hands, tuck the back of the head snugly inside. Crown of the head on the mat. You may lift the heels to raise the hips and tilt forward to find lift. Let the hip flexors lift the feet and the core and shoulders stabilize the torso. You may stay with the toes slightly off the mat. If you wish to take it further, see if you can lift the toes from the sides up, pointing and engaging for lightness, filling as much space as the legs can, lifting up. Engage the legs and take your time. Allow the head of your femurs to rotate on the hip joints. Don't forget to breathe. Wherever you are, see if you can recruit strength and stay for 5 breaths. Allowing the shoulders to work. Hips are open. Whenever you're done, going down, take the legs in the reverse manner, slowly and with control. Patience is your friend. And slowly step the feet lightly, lift the head, catch your breath. Feel free to pause. Then let's take our variation of side angle, opening the hips to the long edge of the mat. Left knee is stable. Pressing through with the toes. This time, airplane lunge or warrior one. Really magnetizing the feet and the hips towards the mat. Breathing deeply. Then let's have our chair pose for the last time today. Gazing in between the hands. And then let's slowly lower down. We will take our last pose for this sequence, crow pose or Bakasana. So there are many ways we can access Bakasana. Hands same as in plank, but when it comes to knee placement, one option is to place the knees close to the triceps, so that as we tilt forward, the knees balance on the triceps. The second option is to take the knees outside of the triceps so that they are squeezing against the arms and the arms against the knees. From the front, you can see that my knees are more apart compared to the first option. Third option is to place the knees close to the elbows. There's a portion on the elbows that forms a shelf for the knees to balance on. So feel free to explore this region. It may be further up, but below the triceps. So feel free to take this time to explore which option works for you too. Of course, feel free to wipe yourself if you are sweaty and slipping, or place a small towel above the knees. If you have props such as blocks, you may bring them out and position them like so. You can step on a block and find your preferred option, slowly tilting the body forward, keeping the arms strong, lifting with the hip flexors, tilting the body forward and allow the forehead to meet the other block in front. So try to find lift by rounding the back, pushing with the arms, and pulling the knees in and up with the hip flexors. Pointing the toes is also a good way to keep lightness. Feel free to adjust your blocks too by placing them further out or stacking them up or adding more as necessary. With a prop supporting our head, we're basically leaning our weight forward here. So we're really gaining muscle memory for the lift in our hip flexors and lightness in our toes as we squeeze them towards the back. Another way with blocks is to stack them underneath the feet. So you may stack them on top of each other or beside each other so that both feet have an elevated surface to step on. And as you lean forward and pull the hips up, you may gaze at a comfortable angle in front of you, may it be forward towards the front of the mat or just a little distance in front of your hands. Observe where your weight is going. Each person has a different structure, body proportion, and center of gravity. So alignment will differ for all of us. Let your fingers, knuckles, and base of the wrists press and grip firmly on the mat, especially as you lean forward. If this is too much on the wrists, you may place a towel underneath the lower portion of the wrists. So oftentimes, we need extra elevation, which can be provided by blocks since it allows us to lift our hips up and over. And of course, we are not doing this just so we can do a performative posture in our yoga classes. So the intention of this pose is to gain focus and by paying attention to all the body parts that allow us to practice proprioception, balance, and stability. When you're comfortable without props, feel free to access the pose. And if you want to pause and rewind, I invite you to do so. If you are able to access your crow and if you feel that you are stable enough to hold, see if you can hold for 2 breaths and then 3 breaths and then 5 breaths until you can progress further and become comfortable and light in the posture. Just keep trying and don't be afraid to adapt. And whenever you're done, let's find a rest in child's pose. Regain your bearings, bring the heart rate down by breathing deeply and slowly. No need to force yourself, just release. So let's do a few more stretches for cool down. Let's take a seated wide-legged fold. Feel free to add support as necessary. Let's fold towards the right leg for a few breaths. And then to the left. Let's bring the legs together, face the short edge, and slowly find a supine position. Lying down. Release your hair tie if you wish. Take your time. Figure 4 stretch or recline pigeon on the right leg. Option to keep the left foot close to the butt but not lifted, or you may lift it. And slowly guide both legs towards the left as we take a twist. Let's take the legs back to center and hug the right knee in as the left foot extends towards the edge of the mat. Let's take our reclined pigeon on the left side this time. Take your option. Gently stretching the glutes. Go on and take your supine twist, unfurling the left hand towards the left side. Back to center. Let's hug the left knee in. Releasing the breath. Take both knees in, hugging both to the chest or to the nose. Let's take one last hip relieving pose. Taking the feet apart for happy baby, you may rock from side to side, massaging the sides and the hips. Taking your time. Then let's hug the knees for one last time and slowly and gently release the legs towards the corners of the mat, the arms beside the hips as we take our Shavasana. Softening the face, the fingertips, the shoulders, the hips, and the knees. Letting go of any outcomes, expectations, habits, objects. Allow the mind to silently meditate, rest, and surrender. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.